Welcome to A.U.M. We are live, and I'm your host, Callie Fedosinko of Callie Collective, a digital marketing agency designed to build relationships between financial advisors and their target audience through data-driven, custom content and advertising. Is your New Year's resolution to write a book? Or maybe it's to publish a book you just finished writing? Or maybe you wrote a book and it's collecting dust because you don't know what you're supposed to do next. Well, lucky for you, we're talking to Lauren Cabello from Leverage with Media PR to talk about how you can get your book into the hands of millions by leveraging savvy media placements. Make sure to ask your questions in the comments as we go along. We'll see them on our end and answer them as they come in. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes. So first things first, how long have you been in PR and how did you end up niching into PR for authors?
Yeah, so actually, my background is as a author. So I'm actually a 3-time author.
Oh, wow.
And I'm actually a 3-time personal finance author.
Oh.
So my last book, I got a major book deal with Hachette.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a personal finance educator, influencer, blogger, YouTuber, and author for 15 years. And national TV personality.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on a regular paid contributor on the Rachel Ray Show, as well as on the Today Show, Good Morning America, and every national TV show you can think of, and was an author. And to be honest, I started in PR because I saw that there was a kind of a hole between authors and PR agents, not fully understanding each other.
Yeah.
And so I started Leverage with Media PR, switched my career, and now help authors launch their books using traditional and new wave PR. So that's how I got started.
Yeah.
And it's a unique agency and a unique way to do what I do.
Okay. What is new wave?
Yeah. So new wave PR, right? So we have traditional PR, which is you think of online press, you think of television appearances, and all of that is great. And we do a great job doing that with our agency. But when it comes to books, there's now Book Talk. There's now, Instagram, and you have to be able to combine both new and old school PR. To launch a book the correct way in, the new wave. We see TikTokers launching their books to New York Times bestsellers like that.
Wow.
Because of their following. And so you have to kind of know what's going on in the industry and what the best way to sell the book is.
Wow. I love that you are like bridging that gap, that you started as an author and you saw all the issues and you're like, hey, I can solve this.
Yes.
That's like a great place to come from. So for our advisors who are listening, how does somebody go about publishing a book? And do you have a publisher that you recommend?
Yeah, that's actually a very loaded question. that we could probably spend the whole half hour on just that. So the biggest thing is, I think, especially we have a lot of financial advisor clients that work with us in our agency. I know that there's a lot of compliance that they have to go through when they're dealing with writing and things like that. So you need to find somebody that understands compliance and understands that they need to work with your compliance departments, first of all. Second of all, you need to work with a person that's going to give you control, perhaps, of your manuscript. Now, there's 3 different ways you can publish. You can do self-publishing, which you control everything. Good thing is you control everything. You make all the money. Downside, you have to know what you're doing. You control all the marketing. You have to pay for everything out of pocket, and that includes books. If you wanted to bring books to an event, if you want to print books to a sponsor party or wherever, you have to pay for all of those to get printed. Then there's the hybrid model. The hybrid model is you pay a company to help you write the book, edit it, format it, and handle all the distribution. And then you usually make like 70% and they make 30%,
Okay.
let's say.
Yeah.
And then you have the traditional book model where you're getting, a book deal with a publisher and they're handling everything. They say they're handling marketing. They don't, for the most part. And then you don't have to pretty much come up with out of pocket. Sometimes you get an advance.
Hmm.
And then from there, you have a couple different options. So you just have to know which option you want to get. A lot of people want the traditional route right off the bat, but it's very hard to get a traditional book deal right now
Hmm.
and get that large advance,
Yeah.
because you need to have a very large social media presence in order to get
Okay. That was gonna be my question is why is it hard to get it now?
Yeah. Yeah. So you need to have a very big social media presence.
Mm.
There's certain publishers like Wiley that they kind of have a separate division of their publishing arm, which kind of goes after personal finance writers. And
Mm.
I don't want to say go after, because I don't think it's like a predatory thing, but
Yeah.
they do have an arm where they publish a lot of personal finance writers,
Mhm.
and they give them a small advance, maybe between $2,000 and $5,000
Okay.
of an advance. But then they maintain all of the control, and you're not making a ton off of the book.
Mm.
So royalties are really low. So
Okay.
you have to know what your goals are. Are you writing this book to get rich? Are
Right.
you writing this book as a business card?
Right. Right.
Which way should you go? Depends on which way you should publish.
Um, a lot of advisors I feel are publishing a book just for that credibility and influence.
Mhm.
Coming from that standpoint, what should they write about? Should they be writing about a new topic that hasn't been done before, or a topic that has that does well? What's your input on that?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. My answer is you need to write about a topic and be a specialist, not a generalist.
Mm.
It's a very bad thing to be a generalist personal finance person, especially if you want to hire a PR agency like ours and go
Mhm.
after PR. Okay. Because when you don't specialize, it's very difficult to brand yourself.
Mm.
It's that saying of if you talk to everybody, you talk to nobody.
Mhm.
And so when you're writing your book, you need to look at who you're talking to, what your goal is for the book, as far as like if you want to bring it, like if you're a retirement advisor,
Right.
and you only deal with like retirees, you would want to write a book about retirement because those are the people that you want to bring into your company. So you have to write the right book for your brand
Yeah.
and for your agency or for your company or for what kind of speaking engagements you want.
Mm. Mhm.
So you need to write about a specific topic. And so
Mhm.
when we're looking at bringing in people to our PR agency as clients, they need to specialize in something, and we will
Yeah.
only take somebody as a client if they have a specialty.
That's great.
Yes.
Great
So
information.
we have 5 personal finance clients right now. We have a
Yeah.
divorce expert, a retirement expert, an investing expert, a children's book author.
Mm.
So no, so we have 4. Oh no, and then a credit card expert.
Okay. I love that.
Mhm.
Will you take like if another credit card expert comes, do you only take one person and one topic
Yep.
or okay,
Yeah,
got it.
we only take one in one niche because I don't find that it's fair to
Yeah.
the other one. And we're a boutique agency, so
Yeah.
we only work with 15 clients at a time.
Mm.
So we're the best. I believe we're the best of the
Yeah.
best,
Yeah.
and so we can choose.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
You mentioned speaking gigs. How can an advisor use their book to get a speaking gig?
Yeah, so a lot of speakers, people that are speaker seekers, right, that are
Yeah.
looking for speakers, it adds that level of credibility, I think, to a speaker, somebody who's looking
Mhm.
to book speakers, if they
Mhm.
see that you're a best-selling author.
Mm.
But then to add on top of that, to say that you're a best-selling author and that you've been on Cheddar and
Mm.
CNBC
Mhm.
and Yahoo Finance and MSNBC and NBC News Now and all of these
Right.
other things. What happens when you write your book? And this is where people drop the ball every
Mm.
single day when
Mm.
they're writing their books, is they don't see this as the prime marketing opportunity for their business.
Mhm.
Is they're like, "Okay, I'll write the book, and then Like, I'll see if anybody buys it,
Yeah.
I'll go out and I'll do some stuff with it. I'll use it as a business card, but they're missing out on the biggest marketing opportunity of the year, of
Mm.
maybe 5 years, and they don't give it justice that you have an excuse to now do this huge marketing opportunity and marketing push
Right.
for maybe 6 months.
Yeah.
And if you invest in that 6 months,
Mm.
hire a publicist
Mhm.
to do the PR, to get the TV, to get the Forbes, to get the Entrepreneur, to get Inc., to
Yeah.
get all of those things based on your book and the expertise that you have, that that money that you've just spent will follow you for the rest of your career,
Mm.
those accolades.
Mhm.
So if you don't take that opportunity, you're missing out
Right.
on
Yes.
that time.
And on that same arm, I've seen people not advertise that part of it. Like, let's say they do get on NBC, but then it's not on an email signature or their website. It's buried somewhere.
Right,
So
exactly. I'm
yes.
like, "Where is it as seen on?" Like, you need
Yes.
to have that everywhere because that
Yeah.
adds trust to
Credibility.
and credibility. Yep.
Now you mentioned best-selling book. How
Mhm.
does somebody become a bestseller? Specifically, how do you become the number one book on Amazon?
Yeah, so it's actually a very predictable strategy
Okay.
that we do it with every single one of our authors,
Yeah.
right? And this is the thing is a lot of people are like,
Mhm.
"Okay, I'll put the book up and then I'll see what happens." And it's like,
Yeah.
"But I can tell you how to do it. Like I know how to make it happen." So
Right.
we run an Amazon bestseller campaign with
Mm.
all of our clients, and it's about keywords. It's about what category you put it in.
Mm.
It's about
Mhm.
how do you get the most amount of people to that book.
Mm.
It's not luck. I'll just put it that way. It's a
Yeah,
strategy.
it's a
And
strategy.
it's the same exact thing with if you're a speaker and
Mhm.
you put your book out and you want USA Today, I can tell you exactly how many books to put out, where
Mm.
we need to get them ordered from, how to place the order. It's a strategy.
You've got the formula.
And I've got the formula
Yeah.
and I know exactly how to do it. And it's like, but people continuously try and hit their
Mhm.
head up against the wall. And it's like, well, why? There's people that can know how to do this. Like, just,
Yeah.
hire somebody to do it for you.
Yeah.
And there's people all around the country that know how to do it. So it's the goal with Amazon is really you have to set it up in the right categories.
Mm.
You don't ask your family and friends to purchase your book because then Amazon's algorithm gets all messed up
Interesting.
and Amazon doesn't know who this book is for, so then it won't
Okay.
target the right people to actually
Mm.
purchase your book. So it's all about like setting the right ads on Amazon.
Mhm.
Um, you can also do like a campaign where you do ask like maybe 200 of your friends to purchase it all on the same day.
Mm.
But typically, when your book comes out with even just running like a pre-order campaign on your website, by me pushing through all of those pre-orders through like the book service that I use, we can get you up to Amazon really easily that first day.
That's awesome. The
Mhm.
first day, wow.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, your website says people are doing the right things in the wrong order.
Mhm.
What are we doing right and what are we doing wrong?
The wrong thing is when you come to me a month before your book comes out and says, "Okay, I'm looking for help." And I'm like, "Well, we don't have much time." You know? So, you're doing the right things in the wrong order, right?
Mhm.
You're doing the book first without building the brand.
Mm.
The brand building should come first,
Mm. Interesting.
right? A lot of people come to us, and say, "I want this book to help build my brand." Okay,
Mm.
fair enough,
Yeah.
right? I get that. Um, but they don't have an email list, they don't have any social media,
Mm.
they don't have, any of that. So in that case, I don't think that PR is the next right step for you. I
Right.
think that you need to hire somebody to help you with email sales funnels, to get a
Right.
sales funnel set up, to get a course set up, to get your social media, hire somebody for social media to get you a couple thousand social media followers. PR is
Mm.
not the next step to help get you found.
Right. Right.
people that are ready for PR are people who have, 1,000 followers. They are making money already.
Mm.
Their book is done. It's in the right, they have an email list, and they're ready to take it to the next level.
Mm.
That's really where we start. Maybe other PR firms are where we start with where we are as an agency.
Right.
But so where people mess up is that they do things in the wrong order. So what they need to start with is strategy.
Mm.
They
Mhm.
need to start with what is the right book for my brand, and they
Mm.
need to write the book around that. And then the strategy for their book launch needs to start like 6 months before,
Mm.
maybe even after the book is done. We work with a
Okay.
lot of authors
Yeah.
when they're still editing, in the
Yeah.
editing process, and we need to set up a strategy. You
Mm.
know, when does the book um, plan to launch? What
Mm.
does the
Mhm.
book launch page look like? How are we going to do pre-orders to that page? What are we going to do with these pre-orders? Where are they going to go?
Yeah.
How are we going to order those books, especially if you're a speaker? How are we going to pre-sell speeches
Mm.
using book orders as
Mhm.
your payment, as part of your payment, so that you can pre-sale a bunch of books?
Right.
What is the strategy um, for media?
Mm.
You know,
Mhm. Mhm.
where do you live? What do we think we can get for media attention? How does that media play out?
That
Some of
leads
these shows
right
are,
into my next question for you
yeah,
of
yeah.
how can an advisor use their book to get on the news?
The key thing is don't pitch the book.
Okay. What are you pitching?
You're pitching a topic
Okay.
that is relevant in the media today
Mm.
that your book ties into. So if
Mm.
your book has to do with stocks,
Mhm.
you're going to pitch a station that talks about stocks. So CNBC would be a perfect example.
Mhm.
And you're going to pitch a trending story that maybe you saw in the Wall Street Journal that weekend
Yeah.
that is talking about stocks.
Mm.
And then you weave the book message into that, and you share that you have a book. Here's the cover. I'm the author of blah, blah, blah. And then you weave that into the messaging of the story. They
Yeah.
will share that you have a book or you're the author of
Yeah.
when you share that. But I think that's the common misconception when you have a book, that authors think like, oh, I'm just going to pitch that I have a new book. No, you have to pitch something of value.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. That makes sense. Would you say that local or national is better?
Well, can't start at national. National always wants to see that you have experience.
Okay. Okay.
So that's another thing that people want. Oh, I want to get on the Today Show. Everybody wants to get on the Today Show. Everybody
Right.
wants to get on Good Morning America. But you have to start at at your local level.
Mm.
Before I got a regular spot on the Today Show and Rachel Ray, I
Mhm.
did 5 years of regular local television
Mm.
every month for 5 years. I did
And
local
were you
television.
bringing in the same book each time?
Um, no, I didn't bring in my book. I talked about topics that were relevant.
Got it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they talked about I'm the author of The Recovering Spender,
Mm.
every
Mhm.
single time. And so you have to be able to be flexible to not
Yeah.
just talk about your book all the time. You have to be flexible to talk about what's trending in the media
Mm.
and what people want to learn about.
Yeah.
You can't just go on a TV station and talk about your book every single time.
Right.
Now, if you have a book pub week, that there's an exception. The week your book comes out, that's when you really just talk about the book,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but any other time other than that, you're pitching like local stories.
And so each time you're getting on, are you pitching a different story, or I'm assuming that they get to know you after a certain point in time and start
Mhm.
asking you for your opinion on different stories?
Yeah. Yep, they will ask opinion on different stories, but always thinking about what's going on in the world.
Mm.
Is it the holiday season? Is it Valentine's Day? Is it spring? Is it
Yeah.
tax season? And tailoring pitches to those
Right.
holidays.
Right. Okay. But I'm not famous. So
Yeah.
why would someone want me on national news? Like, how do you go from local to national?
Yeah, a lot of times people go from local to national. I'm just gonna be honest, like
Mhm.
hiring a publicist. That's,
Mm,
you know,
mhm.
hiring somebody to get really good on television, getting media trained and perfecting
Mhm.
your craft.
Yeah,
That's how I did it, to be
yeah,
honest. And, I think that to get on national television, it's a lot of work.
yeah.
A lot of work. It's months
Mm,
of pitching to get noticed. And a lot of the people that we work with are running very busy firms.
sure,
And
yeah.
so to do that, it's a full-time job.
Yep.
But you also have to know and to be trusted by the
Mhm.
producers. You have
Mhm.
to have a good topic. You have to be good on camera.
Right.
You have to be media trained. You should know your topic in and out. And so I think people underestimate the amount of work that goes into preparing yourself for national TV appearance.
Yeah.
So if people want national television, pay to get media trained.
Mm. Mhm.
Pay to, study the craft of going on television. And then also not just TV, like larger podcasts,
Mhm.
that's a part of the new wave of PR right now is
Mm.
larger podcasts are
Yeah.
now all taping in person.
Mm.
So you're getting, if you go on a show that's in person, I mean, I'm just thinking of like people that are super popular right now,
Mhm.
like Gary Vee or like Alex Hermosi or, Lewis Howe, Jay Shetty, like all of those big, you have to travel to them.
Mm.
But those shows can make your book go viral.
Right. Right.
So you have to have a combination of print, podcasts, online. You have to know where to pitch, what time, what pitching.
Right.
Um, so there's a lot that goes into it.
Have you seen many advisors go viral?
Yeah, there have been, and what it what it comes down to is a perfect combination of being relatable.
Mm.
Okay,
Mhm.
if we think about Ramit Sethi,
Mhm.
what is it, Ramit? He had a Netflix special. Forgive me for butchering your name, Ramit, because I've met you times, but he had a Netflix special,
Mm.
and it was all about, like, he went around to certain places and certain houses and
Mm.
help people budget, okay?
Mm. Mhm.
He went viral a couple times.
Mhm.
Um, Dave Ramsey goes viral all the time, but it's just because
Sure.
everybody gets mad at him, right, for
Right.
something.
Yeah.
So it's usually for something that's very, uh polar opposite of what other people think,
Mm.
like, it's
Mhm.
a very unique thing,
Mhm. Mhm.
but then also things that go viral are very simple things that a
Mm.
lot of times we don't think that we think everybody knows,
Yes. Yep. I've
you
seen
know?
that with videos with our clients.
It's short form video
Mhm.
of, like, "Hey, do you know that if you go to the grocery store and you cut up this thing of hamburger and freeze it, you're gonna," like, stuff like that, and I know I'm
Right.
talking to a bunch of advisors, so that wouldn't make sense, but, like, if you invest this, or
Mhm.
it's the short form videos that are really going viral right now.
Yeah. If someone has a book that goes viral, do they end up just like, "Hey, I'm gonna make this my career,"
Mhm.
or do they just use it as a way to bring in new business?
I think if they're smart, they use it as a way to bring in new business.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for that. There's so many ways to monetize a book, whether it's through speaking engagements,
Hmm.
through using it as a free sales funnel
Yeah.
to bring in people to, like, a course. Um, I mean, we have a female client right now that's
Mhm.
doing it to get brand deals,
Hmm.
so just increase her
Mhm.
visibility, and she's gotten some really amazing brand deals through it.
Right.
So there's a lot of different ways,
Yeah.
to use it. I got spokesperson deals through it. with some really large companies. So
What's a good length of book? Have you found that like, oh, usually books that are 200 pages or,
it's a good
whatever it
one.
might be.
It's a great question because I always say write a book, not a pamphlet.
Mm.
If
Mhm.
you're writing a book and you're saying to yourself, "Oh, I'm just going to write an easy read,"
Mhm.
just stop
Don't do it.
and regroup, please. There's this that's an excuse in your head
Yeah.
to not do it the right way and the full
Mm.
way. And this is why. If you're writing an easy read, people
Mhm.
don't take it as seriously.
Mm.
Okay. And I know this from experience. My first
Yeah.
book was an easy read,
Yeah.
right? And it didn't feel or look like a real book. So, for example, I can pull up I mean, this one is like it's smaller
Yeah.
than I'm not going to show the name because I don't want to like out the writer, but
Sure.
this one is thinner. It's 140 pages, but the editing is
Mhm.
not done properly. It's not
Mhm.
edited. This was a self-published book. Um, that's different than, you know,
Yeah. Right.
this one is 335 pages,
Mm.
and this is a Penguin Random House book.
Mm.
So this is double the size.
Right.
Okay. There's a big
Yeah.
difference between
Yeah.
a book and a pamphlet.
Right.
This is a book, this is a pamphlet. When
Mm.
you have to know what your goal is, what your marketing goals are.
Mhm.
If you don't edit it the right way with the right font, with the right bleed
Mhm.
lines, it doesn't look professional.
Right.
So you want to make sure that your book looks like a real book,
Yeah.
especially if you are, in the financial services,
Mhm.
company, and your clients are high value
Right.
clients
Right.
and they're used to reading high value books. You want to make sure that the book that you're producing matches what they
Mm.
normally read.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. How much should someone be prepared to spend on PR when they're trying to get their book out?
Yeah, so there's a couple different price points. If you're looking at an individual publicist that just
Mhm.
works for themselves, the price point is anywhere from like 1,500 to 3,500 a month is what
Mm.
the average price point
Mhm.
is. If you're looking for a boutique agency like mine,
Mhm.
there's a team of 5 of us. We take on 15 clients. We offered like the same great
Right.
service that other people, bigger agencies do. We
Mhm.
go between 5,000 and 7,500 a month.
Mm.
The big agencies are between 10,000 and 15,000 a month. If
Mm.
you want like a New York City, a lot of people are like, I'm just going to hire somebody from New York. Okay, go and
Right.
spend 15,000 a month, do it. Um, but yeah, so that's just kind of the general rule of thumb.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Um, and my last question for you.
Mhm.
If you could tell someone who wrote a book just one thing to do to make the most of their book, what would it be?
I would say to make the most of their book, they really need to develop a 6 to 12-month strategy of
Mhm.
what that looks like to launch it. And
Mhm.
if they've already launched it, do a relaunch
Mhm.
of if they haven't ever done that. And that includes social media, that includes a launch team, that includes PR, that includes online marketing, Facebook ads, and all of that.
Yeah.
And really spend this one time in your career where you can really, really make a really big bang on the internet and
Yeah.
online and in media to really increase your career for the next 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, and it takes a lot of time to write a book.
Hmm.
I've already made that investment.
You have, and I call it book PTSD. We get to the end of the book and it comes out, and then we don't market it. It
Yeah.
happens every time. And
I've
every
done it.
first time author comes back and says, I wish I had done this different.
Yeah.
So don't make that mistake.
Yeah.
Because then
Great
you
advice.
put so much time into this and then you just throw it up against a wall and hope that it sells. Like that's
Right.
not a marketing plan.
Right. Yes. Love it. Great advice. Thank you
Yes.
so much, Lauren.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. And thank you for everyone joining us. Don't miss us next week when I'll be sharing what metrics you should track to diagnose how your marketing is performing. And oh, hey, before we go, are you signed up for our newsletter? Because you should. It goes out every week and it's full of tips, tricks, and trade secrets to take your marketing from sufficient to magnificent. Stay savvy.